Our next guest is Richard Winger. For those of you who've already visited with us on None of the Above, Richard is one of our regular contributors. Richard is the nation's leading expert on ballot access, a very obscure area of politics, but one that's very important. If you can't be on the ballot, you can't run for office. You can't run for office, you can't make a difference. So Richard has been educating us on some of the issues related to ballot access. He's the publisher of Ballot Access News. So Richard, what's going on in the world of ballot access today?
Well, I'd like to talk about the nation's absolutely worst ballot access law, and that's Georgia's law on how minor party and independent candidates get on the ballot for U.S. House of Representatives. It is so bad, no minor party has been on the ballot in a regularly scheduled election for U.S. House in Georgia since 1942. Now, what happened back then? In 1943, the current law was written. So it's 70 years old, and it is so restrictive. It has never been used by a minor party candidate in 70 years, and it's only been used once by an independent, and it's been made worse since that happened. What Georgia does is requires a minor party or independent candidate for U.S. House to collect between 15,000 and 20,000 valid signatures. Every sheet has to be notarized. You only have a limited amount of time to collect the signatures. And in practice, there's very tough finding good places to petition in Georgia. So the net result is a total Democratic-Republican monopoly for this most important office.
So Richard, in Georgia, if I was running as a Republican or a Democrat, how many signatures would I need?
0.
0?
Yes. They just pay a filing fee to get on the ballot, in the primary ballot.
Yeah, I find that amazing. Well, thank you for your insight. These are so valuable to have people understand how our system gets gamed, and particularly in the state of Georgia, they don't have access to any real third-party or minority views, and probably is not going to change anytime soon, is it?
We're always hopeful. You know, if the courts did their job, this law would have been struck down long ago, because the U.S. Supreme Court has said 3 times if a ballot access law is so tough that no one ever uses it, it's probably unconstitutional. But we tell this to the judges, the federal judges in Georgia. And the last time was a case called Caulfield versus State of Georgia. And the 11th Circuit said, well, that's true, but maybe that's because nobody's tried. Well, people have tried. But at that point, it was too late to introduce new evidence into the record. If we'd known that would have influenced them, we would have put in evidence about all the people who've tried and failed. They should have remanded it, but they didn't. So the case was over. Richard, we asked the Supreme Court to review it, but they wouldn't.
Richard, thank you again as always. Just real quickly here for our viewers, how do they find you and how do they find Ballot Access News if they want to subscribe?
Just Google Ballot Access News. And if you want to take it in the mail, it's only $16 a year for 12 issues. All my contact information is on the webpage, Ballot Access News.
What a great value. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Stephen.
Well, we certainly hope you enjoyed today's program. As always, our intention is to both educate and entertain, and hopefully you came away with a new appreciation for redistricting, among other things. I promised during the middle segment that I would give you the attribution for the whiteboard chart we had, and that was from data produced by the American National Election Studies. I've seen this same graph in a few places, and I've seen 2 versions. Obviously, the version that talks about the amount of splitting, and then the reverse version of this, which talks about the percentage of straight party voting. Anyway, we want to tip our hat again and thank the American National Election Studies for that data. As you know, with every program we have a homework assignment, and today's homework assignment is I want to see if I can get you engaged, not just to get active in politics, but to start reading about politics. Maybe we could find 15, 20 minutes each week that you'll dedicate to reading about politics, and not just reading the local paper. I think we need to branch out a bit and get a flavor for national politics. I know at the national level, I try to balance things out a bit. I read the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and balance them out. Usually they've got a little right-left, conservative, liberal thing going there. I think The Economist is a terrific magazine that gives, quite frankly, a global perspective. And there's a series of periodicals out there, you might find, and also books on our website, www.thirdparty101.com. I've got a series of book reviews that I've written. And to that end, for those of you that read interesting, fascinating books on politics, why don't you shoot those to us? If you want to include a review, we'll post them on the website. But just to get people reading and branch out between, again, from the local paper, and just looking for a national perspective, international perspective, just try and pick up and get educated. It's very important that we're not only active, but educated. Because at some point, as we always talk about, if you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. Thank you.